People are talking about Winter being seen in JK's clothes and people having a lot of thoughts on that, as well as an apology demanded from J-Hope, as well as a lawsuit that's happening recently that has made people really shocked. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Disci. Well, let's get into it. There is a lawsuit that is happening widely in K-pop right now that has drawn a lot of attention, and specifically because it's a lawsuit involving one of the members from 2NE1 as well as the CEO of YG. The member Park Bom is suing for 4.5 quadrillion US dollars. I'm not even going to try to figure out what that is in Korean money because that's going to be a crazy number. But I think the amount of money is really what's drawing criticism, as a lot of people are saying that if she gets that amount of money, she would be richer than Elon Musk, and by a lot. And that is probably more money than there is in the world. So what is the lawsuit? How possible is it to get that amount of money? And exactly why is she suing for that amount of money? Because there's typically a reason for the amount that you're asking for. And can other artists sue for this much? She is suing for the amount of money that she has not been paid out throughout her career, accusing the CEO of things like embezzlement, album sales, promotion, things like performances, etc. And of course, obviously that amount of money still doesn't make any sense because the label itself has not made that amount of money, probably even in their lifetime. And some people have talked about the fact that the company will need to sell its soul to the devil in order to get that amount of money, because how on earth are you supposed to come up with that? Now there's a reason to sue for that amount of money. I like to compare this to being similar to a parking ticket costing $2 million, and this is typically done by police officers who want the person who's getting the ticket to appear in court. So they might write a $2 million parking ticket to a celebrity, let's say, because they feel like the celebrity may not care about it, and the celebrity will just do it again, because what's $50 to them, right? And the parking ticket's not really about the $50 or $2 million, right? The parking ticket is so that they don't do it again. And what typically happens when someone receives a ticket is they will have to go to court if they get $2 million and take time out of their day and deal with it, which that might stop them from doing it again because they're like, well, I don't want to go to court again. I don't want to do this again. And we all know rich people often value their time more than they value $50. They might think this is annoying. And this is my theory, by the way, so don't take it as gospel. But I believe that the amount of money that she was probably suing for the label would not be as significant to the label, especially nowadays since they're bringing in a lot of money. It could be $10, $20 million that she's asking for. While that is a significant amount of money, it may not be to the label, and it might just be potentially like a tax write-off for them. So this could potentially encourage the label to do this more and steal even more money, because that's not really much money for them. That's not really punishment for them. And allegedly, right? I'm not saying that this is factually, this is just my conspiracy theory. So I personally believe the 4 quadrillion amount of money is to be used in a way for the CEO and the label to take this case seriously. It's a way to ensure that they do show up in court, and it's a way to ensure that they don't do this again. And it's a way to ensure that there is a fair negotiation, because that amount of money has likely caught the label's attention. The label is going to take this seriously, because if they don't, they will probably have to pay this obscene amount of money. Because now, if it's written as a legal thing, it becomes an obligation. So while everyone's kind of laughing at her and thinking that she's ridiculous, this is a smart legal move for a lawyer to do, if this is the reason why they're doing it, which is what I personally believe it is, or it could be one of the reasons. But again, these are my theories and these are just my thoughts. I will say this sets a precedent for K-pop going forward, that if things like this happen, labels can start to realize that they can't do these things again and again and again and just pay the penalty. And if they think that they can just pay the penalty, they won't stop doing this, allegedly. And I say allegedly because we also don't even know if the label did do these things that they're being accused of. So all of this is alleged, and that's not what I'm trying to discuss. I'm not trying to sit here and say who did what or whatever. I'm trying to explain why this number isn't that crazy and why it's actually really smart. Now, we're getting into a little bit more of a BTS topic now. J-Hope is demanded to give an apology right now, and this case is extremely confusing to me. This W Korea event that everyone went to, and that was obviously very controversial, a lot of people believe it was not on theme, and several other different things that they were upset about. J-Hope was among the people who went, and he is receiving the bulk of criticism right now. What started as a post where he was kind of showing his look, he was holding a leek, which happens to be a very similar comeback theme to Le Seraphim, had led people to believe that there was some sort of collaboration brewing or coming up, whether that is just him doing a TikTok video dance with them or him being featured in a song or whatever it is. People have now been speculating on what that is. This post has garnered a lot of controversy, as a lot of people were saying, well, the W Korea event was super controversial, it wasn't well done, they had no references to breast cancer, and now he's just moving on and kind of not even addressing the event. I don't really know what he's supposed to do and how he's supposed to address it. He had no involvement in the organization of the event. He's to apologize for the event, even though he had nothing to do with it. He can't apologize for creating the event, but then he's apologizing for going, even though he wouldn't have even known that the event wasn't organized until after he went. And that would also completely sever his connection to the magazine and potentially stop him from getting invited to events in general. That's also like apologizing if you went to a birthday party that wasn't well done and you're the one apologizing for it, even though it's your friend's birthday party. It all makes no sense. So of course I had to look a little bit deeper to figure out what the actual issue was. It seems more like the issue was that he obviously had been around women during the event and people were not happy about that, but now he's showing that he's potentially allegedly collaborating with more women. People are not happy about that either, and that seems to be genuinely what the actual issue is. And I'm sure most of you hearing this would start to realize that actually starts to make more sense as to what the community could potentially be angry about, as opposed to them angry that he didn't apologize for going to an event that he did not organize. Plus, it's one thing if everyone who attended is going to get backlash, but none of the girls are getting backlash, and several other K-pop stars and actors or whoever that were there did not get backlash either. So tell me that this makes sense, because I don't believe it does. Recent posts were garnering attention when it was believed that Winter was spotted coming out of a car and wearing JK's shorts. I believe this was a press event and she was seen wearing a leather jacket alongside a pair of pants that JK has worn before, or at least one that was very similar to the pair of pants, and it was really baggy on her. So people were wondering if this was the exact same pair that JK has, as he would be a little bit bigger than her, and she had just come back from his house or decided to slap something on. Unlikely, but let's address this. Unless a celebrity is going to a private event and one that's for themselves, like a restaurant or something, the clothes that they wear are oftentimes never ones that they pick out themselves. It's a stylist or a specific brand that they are endorsing. For example, if one person is the ambassador for Calvin Klein, they can't wear clothes from Calvin Klein's competition or whatever that is. I'm not sure what it is, but by that logic, all of the clothes that they wear has to kind of be meticulously picked out, and oftentimes not by the celebrity themselves, because they could make a mistake. But a stylist may not, right? Because that's their job. If we are seeing two celebrities wearing the same type of clothes, all that typically means is that that was something that was in right now, likely sent to both of them, or likely was just used by the same stylist. Or if we want to go a little bit more conspiracy, which is something that I don't necessarily believe is happening here, but we could talk about the fact that some celebrity companies or PR teams will use tactics like this to drum up more press for attention. I don't know if that's done in K-pop in general, because this can definitely hurt the careers of the celebrities, but this is something that's done in a lot of Western media, especially with dating rumors. If PR teams know that specific actions make people think of dating, then they're more likely to do that and try to get more attention, and typically never address the dating rumor. So that's something that can happen. Although again, I said I don't think it's happening here, but just a fun little tidbit of information if you're interested in that. Now, I've said so many times before, and many people in K-pop have echoed the same sentiment, which is that clothes and wearing the same thing is often a pretty ridiculous bar to clear for a dating rumor, especially since a lot of K-pop idols, as I mentioned, don't typically own their own wardrobe, or even have rights sometimes to pick their own wardrobe when doing official press activity. And as we can see, this is official press activity as they're going into a building, sitting down and chatting, as well as going and being photographed as they're coming out of their car. This is not an activity where they're just going to a restaurant. But of course, it doesn't even matter if other people are wearing the same thing right now. The eyes are on JK and Winter, so if they had any similarities, if they even walk in the same way or have the same lingo or anything like that, people are automatically going to assume dating, even if there are 10 other female K-pop idols that are doing the same thing, or 10 other male K-pop idols that are doing the same thing. I mean, it's a pair of green shorts. How many other celebrities have worn those? Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you check out Patreon. I'll leave a link at the top of the description. Thank you so much for this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.